And now I am going to have Maddie go ahead and introduce herself and begin the information that you have brought to us.
So as Janet mentioned, my name is Maddie Burke, and I am with the Community College of Rhode Island. I am the Director of Strategic Initiatives for the Student Affairs Division, but I really work with all of the different divisions of the college: academic affairs, workforce, and today I'm really here to talk to you about our workforce programming. But just a little bit about CCRI for those who aren't familiar with the community college. We're the largest community college here in New England, and we have over 90 degrees and certificate programming, and that includes both on the academic side, associate's degrees, certificate programs, and then also the workforce training, which is what we're going to spend the majority of tonight sort of talking about, is training that is really specialized and specific to helping folks earn jobs in specific fields. We also have lots of transfer agreements at CCRI for folks who are looking to earn higher level degrees like a bachelor's degree or a master's or graduate certificate. We have lots of articulation agreements with area colleges. We have 4 campuses across Rhode Island, so I know most folks on the call are Providence residents, but we have a campus in Providence. We also have campuses in Warwick, Lincoln, Newport, and Westerly. And then we have really flexible course offerings. So that's part of what I'm going to talk about today. Is a lot of our programming is offered both either in person or online or hybrid, so some combination of both. And so we really do try to, particularly with our workforce programming, make sure that we're meeting the needs of working folks who have families that they're raising, and understanding that time can be a very precious commodity. And so we want to make all of our trainings accessible as possible. So today I'm going to talk about 3 of the 4 different areas related to our workforce partnerships. So here are the 4 major ones: healthcare, manufacturing and marine trades, business, technology and education, and then adult education. We have a separate workshop on Monday to talk about the adult education programming. So today I'm just focusing on healthcare, manufacturing, and the business and technology. So some things to know about our workforce programming. These workforce programs are designed to meet the needs of Rhode Island's workforce and employers, and so they are mostly developed in combination with some of our larger employers in the state. So folks like Bank of America for banking and finance, or Lifespan for healthcare. And the goal with that is really to make sure that the training is meeting the needs of people who are doing the hiring. And so that is the goal with all of these workforce programs, is help people get really great jobs here in the state of Rhode Island. So these programs are available to all Rhode Island residents, whether you're employed or unemployed or underemployed. These programs are available. Like I mentioned, these programs lead directly to a job. So that's one of the really big benefits, is we work with employers and we do a lot of job placement as part of these programming. So if you are, interested in switching careers, in upskilling, in, moving up in your career, a lot of these programs might be a good option for you. And then the workforce programs are generally short-term and flexible. So, think 10-week training, 12-week training, those types of things. And they're meant to, designed to give you a certificate or credential in one particular area to help folks, again, get very specific jobs. So that's what we're going to talk about today. The cost of these programs does vary based on the program, but the majority of them, there's scholarship money available through the Department of Labor and Training. So the majority of these programs are free. They're at no charge. So that's another really great benefit as well. And then I put the website here. At the end, I'll definitely include the link to the website and my email in case folks have additional questions, but just wanted to make sure folks know where to go to be able to sign up for these. So we're going to start with the healthcare offerings. So these are some of our most popular programs within the workforce division. And I'm basically just going to go through each of the programs quickly. And then once I get to the end, after the 3 different categories, I'll open it up if folks have any questions. So the medical assistant training is designed to prepare folks in entry-level healthcare roles. So think about when you go to the doctor, the person who kind of checks you in and asks you all those questions about your health insurance. Those are mostly medical assistants. And so this training is to help prepare folks for those entry-level roles within healthcare and clinical fields. The training is about 480 hours. The number of weeks vary depending on the type of cohort. So some of them are in the evening, some of them are in person, some of them are hybrid. And so depending on how the format, it could be 10 weeks or it could be 20 weeks. So it really depends. But it's 480 hours total. The next cohort is starting next month. And then there's a program contact there, Laurie Cepeda. She is the person you would get in contact with if you're interested in this program. Dental assistant is very similar to a medical assistant, but it's specifically for dental care. So again, when you go to the dentist's office, those kind of first people that you meet that help you get checked in, that kind of handle all of the kind of entry level pieces of that dental work, those folks are dental assistants. This training is 312 hours. There is also a cohort beginning in May, and this is also a program that has both day and evening classes as well, so you can pick whichever option works best for you. And the contact for that program is Stacy Rouleau. The nursing assistant program, this is one of our more skilled programming. And so the great thing about the nursing assistant program, like some of our other programs, is that it's a stackable credential. So you can go from the nursing assistant program, apply some of the training directly to our RN program, so our associate's degree in nursing. So it's sort of like an entry-level step to if you want to become a registered nurse, for example. The commitment is 130 hours of training. There's also a cohort beginning in May. This one, I believe, right now is only being offered during the evening, and that has to do with like lab availability, but that's something that could change in the future. So patient support specialist is similar to a medical assistant. These are folks who are kind of working in medical environments. It's a non-clinical position, but it is very much customer service, customer care focused. And folks usually learn a lot of sort of systems and technologies related to the medical field, like how to electronic medical record systems and things like that. This is an 11-week training, 8 weeks of training, and then 3 weeks of hands-on application. The cohort that just started, they're about 4 weeks into the training. And so there likely will not be another cohort starting until either August or September, but that information will also be available on the website. So a medication aid or a medication technician, this is another one of those entry-level roles. This is a certificate that comes directly from the State Department, the Department of Health. And so again, just like a great entry-level healthcare role. This is a really short training. It's only 48 hours. And they do them a couple of times every semester. This next cohort will kick off in August in the fall. A pharmacy technician, similar to a medical technician, is also a certified, like board certified program. This one is a bigger time commitment, 180 hours, but there's lots of employment opportunities, entry-level pharmacy jobs related to this particular certificate. And this one, like the medical technician, runs a few times every year with the next cohort kicking off in August. So case manager is also entry level. This one is a little bit more related to like social work and folks who are interested in going more of a human services route. We do partner with the Community Care Alliance for this particular certificate. And this one is also a stackable credential. So folks who are interested in continuing to pursue a degree in social work, we have a program, an associate's degree program in human services that is sort of a kind of next step complement to this case manager program. The training commitment is 5 months, which includes a short sort of hands-on externship experience. And the next cohort for this one also begins in the fall. So that's it for the healthcare programming. The next category is our manufacturing and maritime and wind. So these are very much sort of hands-on, think sort of larger factory trades related jobs. Our CNC manufacturing program is one of our longest running manufacturing programs and in this particular area. This program is directly funded through the Real Jobs Rhode Island, and it's also a stackable credential. So we have an associate's degree program in advanced manufacturing that's directly related to this. And so by going through this, 630 hours, you're about halfway through, we're about a third of the way through the associate's program by the time you come out. So then you can take the additional classes to get the degree. The next cohort is going to kick off in July. This is one where we have a number of smaller kind of manufacturing employers that really look to this program as a pipeline of talent. So like Polaris is one of our larger employers that works through this program, and they hire a ton of people who come out of the CNC manufacturing program. We have the electrical apprenticeship program. This one also is sponsored through the Department of Labor and Training. It's a 480-hour commitment. The next cohort for this one is kicking off in just a couple weeks in May. This one, and I think it's the next, oh no, it's not the next one. It's the one after that, the electric boat one. When we get to that, I'll talk a little bit more about that. The maritime careers, so these are folks who are working sort of entry-level marine trades, so boat builders, marine technicians, marine electronics, installation related to like boats, wind maintenance, all of those are kind of entry-level marine trades. This is a 4-week commitment. It's a full-time daytime program. And they just did a cohort this spring that started a few weeks ago. So the next cohort won't kick off till about September. So this is the electric boat trades. So when we were talking about the electrical trade, I mentioned this. So this program and the electrical trade program are directly connected to electric boat. And so the hiring actually goes directly through electric boat, but all of the training happens at the Westerly site for CCRI. So if you're interested in any of these programs, pipe fitting, sheet metal rigging, the electrical apprenticeship, you can contact Alyssa, and what she'll do is actually help you walk through the process of how to apply to these jobs at Electric Boat. And you have to secure the job at Electric Boat in order to participate in the training. But the great thing about this program, similar to some of our other stackable credentials, we have a apprenticeship program through Electric Boat, where folks who have completed any of these trades programs can then be eligible for an associate's degree in manufacturing. And it's a sort of sponsored, an Electric Boat sponsored program. So not only is it free, but folks are able to do it part-time while they're working full-time at Electric Boat. This is one of our newer certificate programs in process technology. This one is also located on our Westerly campus. It is sort of more of a boot camp style where they take you through the different areas of process technology related to like chemical handling and things like that. And so depending on the sort of industry that you're interested in, there's lots of different fields related to process technology. This is a 10-week program. We don't have the next cohort scheduled, so that information will be available on the website as soon as it is. And a list is also the contract for this one. So Global Wind training is our newest green energy program, and we're really excited. We are partnering with folks at the Global Wind organization to create this program that's also going to be a stackable credential that leads to an associate's degree. And so this will be brand new. We've never done it before, but the first cohort we're anticipated to launch this summer. So definitely, if you're interested in, green energy, offshore wind, look out for an update on this program. And then finally, that concludes our manufacturing trades, our business technology and education certificate programs. Our court interpreter, try saying that 4 times fast, is also one of our newer programs in professional studies. And these are the folks who sit in the courtroom and provide interpretation services and often do transcripting for the court. This is a certificate-based program, so you get a certificate credential at the end. There's a 60-hour commitment for this one. The next cohort is going to begin in the fall. And this is a certificate program that developed directly out of a request from folks at the state level who were looking to fill these jobs. So there was a real gap in skills. So there are tons of employment opportunities in this area. Same with court reporting. Similar, this one has less to do with interpretation and more to do with transcripting for the court, also a 60-hour program. Property and casualty insurance. So we have partnered with some of the larger insurance providers in the state, like Amica Insurance, for example, to develop this insurance certificate program. It is mostly for entry-level jobs related to customer service, policy, and understanding sort of third-party coverage. It is a 60-hour training. The next cohort's beginning in a couple of weeks, and Stacy Rouleau is the contact for that one. Our security industry and essentials training. This is a finance-related training. It covers, entry-level investment, equity, and debt securities. It is for folks who are looking to break into entry-level finance jobs. So we partnered with Bank of America to create this training. They hire lots of folks from directly from this program. It's a 60-hour training, and the cohort is kicking off in the summer in June. Our software developer program is another one of the stackable credentials. The software developer program, it happens in 2 modules. The first one is more related to sort of like advanced Excel, if anyone has experience with Microsoft Excel. And then the second module is related more to data analytics and data visualization. This certificate stacks into our software developer associate's degree program. The training is a 13-month commitment, and the next cohort is kicking off in a couple of weeks in May. And then finally, our teacher assistant program. This is for folks who are looking for entry-level employment within schools and school districts. These are often both like part-time and full-time roles where folks can work either as teacher aides or substitute teacher assistants. and all different sort of classroom-related non-teacher roles. This is a 6-week training. The next cohort begins in March, and this is also one that's a stackable credential for folks who are looking for an associate's degree in early childhood. The credits from this program transfer to the associate's degree program in early childhood. And that is it. I'm going to stop sharing. And I would be happy to answer any questions if folks have questions. I think we might have had a couple come in through the chat.
Mm-hmm. Dele, you can go ahead.
So one of the questions is if for the medical assistance course, do they need to speak English? And for that, I would ask for any of these, do they have to speak English, or is speaking Spanish something that could be offered?
So the courses are only offered in English. However, the level of proficiency that you need for most of them isn't incredibly high. So someone definitely would need to, be able to kind of read and understand English in order to participate in the majority of those trainings. But you don't necessarily need to be, an expert in the language, if that makes sense. And a lot of the instructors particularly in the healthcare trainings are bilingual. So that's helpful, but all of the programming is offered only in English.
So would they do an English test before being accepted?
I don't believe that is part of the screening, but the recruiter would definitely work with someone if they needed to kind of figure out if they were the appropriate, if they had the appropriate proficiency level.
Great.
Just want to remind everyone to please go ahead and either write your question in English or in Spanish in the Q&A, or again, you can go ahead and click on the raise hand at the very bottom of your screen, and we can go ahead and ask you to unmute and ask your question live. Okay, so please let's maximize this opportunity that Maddie's here with us, so that any question that you might have, and there has to be a reason why you jumped on this Zoom, okay? So something triggered your interest. So please, let's make sure to maximize this opportunity.
Is there an age minimum for any of these programs?
Can you repeat that, Delia? I can't really hear you.
Is there an age minimum for any of these programs?
So the only exception, I believe, for that is in some of the trades, like some of the manufacturing you have to be over 18 for some liability issues. But for the most part, there's no age requirements. So we have had some folks who are in high school participate in some of the medical trainings, and we have had folks who are, senior citizens who are retired and looking for a second career who are participated. So the majority of them, no, there's no age limit. The only exception to that, there are a few in the manufacturing where you have to be at least 18 years of age.
And a follow-up question on, I know Electric Boat is a federal contractor. Do you need to be a U.S. citizen to apply, or can you be a permanent resident or work authorized?
You can be a permanent resident, so you have to have work authorization.
Okay, great.
To be a U.S. citizen, and that's for most of their roles. There are some of their roles that require security clearance, but for most of the entry-level roles, that's.
What is the name of the person to contact for medical assistance?
It's Stacy Verlow. What I'll do is make sure that Janet has a copy of the deck to share with you all, so you have the emails for folks. But I'll also go ahead and put the website in the chat as well.
And is the website? I'm sorry, Delia. Is the website when they go into the website, is it easily accessible to just find a contact person? You're in, yeah. You're entering it there in the chat? Okay.
Ah.
All right. Go ahead, Delia. I'm sorry. I know that there's more
No
questions.
problem. Are these programs for parents or for parents and their children?
So I would say that the majority of these, our target audience is adults. So these are mostly for parents. However, like I said, we have had a number of like high schoolers participate in some of the medical training, like CNA, medical assistant training. We have had a number of folks who are like juniors and seniors in high school who have participated in those. So it's certainly not exclusive to parents. But again, the target audience for most of these is adults. These are certificates that are especially designed to help people get jobs. So, you know, we do have a lot of people coming directly out of high school who participate, but we also, you know, are looking at folks who are already in the job market who are just maybe looking for a better job or, you know, to change careers.
How long was the length for the teacher assistant program?
I think it's 180 hours. I think it's 10 weeks. But I'll send that information back out so you can have that. And that one is starting soon. I believe in June is the next cohort for that one.
And where can we see all the programs offered?
All of this information is available on the CCRI workforce website. So I'm going to put that in the chat right now so folks will have access to that.
Another question, are these programs also for current students of PPSD? And are all of these programs accredited?
All of the programs are accredited. Like I said, most of them are appropriate for PPSD students who I would say like juniors and seniors in high school, right? So we're looking at folks who are ready to enter the job market. So, you know, probably 17 and older really is the target audience for folks for these particular jobs, these particular certificates and trainings. Did I answer both? There were two. That was a two-part question. I just wanted to I got
That
you both.
they're offered to the current PPSD students.
Yeah, so it would. So again, if a student is like 17 or older, they would certainly be eligible. Again, there isn't an age restriction necessarily on many of these, but you know, it's given the time demands and you know the type of work we're preparing folks for. I would say it wouldn't necessarily be appropriate for folks who are like 16 or younger.
Somebody's asking about the English classes at CCRI. When do they start?
So that is part of our work for our adult education. So that the workshop on Monday is going to have more details about that. But they typically run 3 cohorts a year. And so I believe the next one is starting in June, but I'll definitely have that information on Monday if folks are interested in learning more about English language classes or GED, like high school equivalency classes.
The next one, Janet, you want to answer that one about somebody's asking about working at the school district to provide the breakfasts in the schools.
Okay. For anyone that's interested in any of our departments, that would be food services. You would, right now we are accepting applications, but it's all online. So you would have to go to our website and we'll make sure to enter the website in the chat for you. And just be very specific, you know, that is what you're looking for, the food service department.
Another question is, do you need to speak English to be an assistant teacher?
Again, all of the programming is offered in English only. So that program is offered in English, though I would say certainly being bilingual is a strength. And you don't need a high level of proficiency in order to be in the program, but the recruiter can talk you through that in terms of, you know, what level of proficiency is required to be in the program.
Another person asked for context for the software development. So if we can have that in the chat. And it says, then the next question says, the software developer program runs 13 months. How many days or hours a week? Are these in class or online?
So the software developer program, I believe right now is only in person. I'm looking here. So there's a summer 2020, 12 weeks. So there is both a daytime and an evening cohort for that one. So it doesn't say exactly how many hours a day, but I imagine it has to be, 4 or less, because again, there's both a day cohort and a nighttime cohort for that one. So I'll put the contact in the chat for folks who are interested.
Another person, Janet, was asking how can they view the presentation from the beginning because they came in late.
Very good. I did respond to that person, but just so that everyone knows, and those that did not, that were not here at the very beginning, we are recording this session. We record all of our parent university sessions, and you can find it, the different recordings in our YouTube channel. So just go ahead into YouTube and type in Providence Schools Parent University, and then you'll go ahead and just find the topic that you are interested in.
Somebody's saying that the chat is disabled. How do we see?
Okay, so let me see what's going on here. Thank you for letting us know.
Another comment, there's a large Spanish-speaking community. CCRI should consider classes in Spanish and courses that you don't have to wait so long to study English. So that's a comment.
If the person who mentioned about the chat, can you please confirm that you are able to see the chat now? Or anyone, actually.
There's another question about an interest for adult education for English. So we're going to be talking about that on Monday. So make sure you mark your calendars to come in and learn about those opportunities on the Monday's Parent University. The interpretation program, is it only for the court or can it be used to work in the medical field?
That's a really great question. So we right now have suspended our medical interpreter program, but there is a specific program for medical interpretation, and I believe they're going to restart that program in the fall. So again, I put the website in the chat. I'll put it again just in case folks didn't get it because we didn't have access to it before. And those, the information about the medical interpreter is on there. So eventually it will be updated when they decide to start that cohort again.
How much does a program cost for a student?
Most of these programs are free. There is scholarship money available through the Department of Labor and Training that covers most of them. Some of them have some related like book fees or electronic fees that can be between like $80 and $100. But sometimes those are also covered by the scholarship. So you'll just need to talk to the recruiter about that. But as long as you're a Rhode Island resident, the majority of them are free.
So you keep saying the recruiter. So how does it work? If I'm listening to this now and I'm like, oh, wow, this looks great. How do I get in touch with a recruiter?
So on the slide, I had the contact for each program. That person is the recruiter. So you would just send an email and say, I'm interested in becoming a medical assistant, and they'll sign you up. They'll get you signed up for the next cohort. Also, if you go to the website, if you go to you click on medical assistant, it'll take you to the page. And at the bottom, there's either a button that says apply or there's a button that says contact us. And you can click on that and they will get you enrolled in the next cohort.
Maybe if we have time, Janet, if Maddie can show us live how to look at the website and where to go and click and find, because that will help people figure out how to navigate the website. So once
Yep.
we're done with some questions, if you can do that for us, that would be
Yes,
great.
I was actually going to also ask Maddie if she could go, once we're done with the questions, because we have some folks that have raised their hand too. If we can just go to each of your slides that has a contact person, it's just people, we can just ask and remind people that they could take a picture of that particular slide and therefore they can see that person's name. But yeah, so we're going to try to go through a few more
Yep.
of these questions so I can grab some of the raised hands.
Yes. So then another question about the English classes, we're going to be talking about those classes on Monday's Parent University. So stay tuned and join us on Monday. Is there any computer classes?
The computer one or
Just
so.
computer.
So
Okay,
yeah, so we do have some basic computer classes, both on the credit and non-credit side. So workforce, these are not mostly non-credit programs, but on the credit side, there are lots of like 1 credit, 2 credit classes on things like word processing, Excel, how to use PowerPoint, introduction to how to use computers. So we do have a lot of that programming available. What I can do is, I'll put that information in the chat too, so folks can see where to go on the website.
Another important one, do you need to have a high school diploma or GED to take these programs?
That's a great question. It depends on the program. So for the majority of them, that is not a requirement, particularly the entry-level healthcare ones. But for some of them, it is, like SIE in particular, data analytics. Some of them have certain requirements. Data analytics, you also have to have a certain level of Excel proficiency. But these are things that the recruiters will walk you through step by step if there's an exam that you have to take or if you have to have a credential.
Great. Okay, so we're done with the questions here. Do we have any hands up, Janet?
We do not. Everyone put them down. We do have a few in the chat. So I don't know if you answered this question, Maddie. So someone asked the question, are there English classes offered on Saturdays?
Yes, there are definitely ELL courses, English language learning courses that are offered on Saturday. I don't know exactly the dates, but that's something I'll definitely include in the presentation on Monday, exactly when the dates and times of the courses.
And I think you might have answered the question. Could you do 2 programs at once?
You can, it depends because the timing, a lot of them are pretty intensive because they're short. A lot of them are 5 hours a day. So it would be hard to do it, but it depends on the program.
So maybe if you can show us how to go to the website and find the website information.
Sure.
Share your screen. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to. Let me just pull up the right website.
This is great information, and I think there's a lot of interest because there's so many programs that were not available a short time ago, and now it really gives you an opportunity to really explore careers that are in high demand. So, and also I encourage parents who are listening that don't self-eliminate yourself from the process because you may feel that your English is not perfect, because many times they will work with you to ensure that you can be successful at them.
Yes, that's a great point. A lot of these programs have wraparound support. So in addition to paying for tuition and fees, a lot of times through the Rhode Island Reconnect program, folks can also be eligible for scholarships for things like transportation, childcare even. So, if you think that there's a particular barrier that might get in the way, you should definitely talk to the recruiter because there might be additional funding available to help you with some of those things.
And there was another one that just came up that asked, if you're working, can you take these courses?
Yeah, so if you, being employed doesn't disqualify you. What I would say is, like I mentioned, some of them are at night, some of them are not. So you would just need to really find a cohort that works with your work schedule. Some of them also, some of the trainings offer a stipend. So like the data analytics cohort in particular, that one comes with a stipend and a paid internship, 12-week internship. So, you know, some folks, you know, can make the decision to maybe quit their job if that's something they're seriously considering pursuing. But there are lots of folks who work and also do these programs either at night, or some of them are also offered online. Some folks choose the online option as well.
This is not a question, Maddie, actually from any one of our participants. I have a question just to clarify. Once you complete a course and it's a certificate, so you receive a certificate, how long is that certificate valid for? What does that mean? If you could just explain that.
Yeah, that also varies depending on the program. So I mentioned how some of them are like licensed state certificate programs, like the pharmacy technician, for example. So it varies depending on the program. Some of them you have to like recertify, so you'll have to like take another exam at some point. But for the majority of them, it's like a one-time shot. So once you have the certificate, that's it. But it depends on the program. So a lot of the healthcare ones involve some sort of like recertification after a certain period of time, which CCRI also can help you just like work through that process as well. But yeah, so it really varies depending on the industry and the certificate program.
Is there another service that's provided for those who apply for these programs? For instance, matching this person with a career advisor. I'm not sure what you might call them there at CCRI, but just, you know, you can go through these courses and then, you know, finish and then not really know how to navigate or know what to do after, or even look for work. So I think you did say something about job placement. So if you can kind of share, you finish your certificate, but prior to finishing, you go through another process, which is, you know, to make sure that you can go ahead and find work.
Yeah, sure. I'll talk about that in just a second. So here's what the website looks like when you click on the link that I put in the chat. I'll put that in the chat again, just in case folks missed it. But once you click on it, it brings you to this workforce page. And then you can look there's a header for each one. So we talked about business and technology, education, healthcare. You can kind of just find the field, marine trades, whichever one you're interested in. And then you look for the programs here in these blue links. So I think someone mentioned they were interested in like the medical assistant training. So let's just take a look at that. So if you come down to healthcare, you'll see medical assistant. And then if you scroll down to the bottom here, it'll tell you when the training is happening, what the hours are, if there's like daytime or evening or Saturday option. And then it has the contact right here. So you just click this link and it will send you to write an email to Laurie. And you just say, I'm interested in joining the next medical assistant training. And she will give you a call and walk you through the admissions process.
And it also, I think, can you come up a little bit? It's,
We can't hear you. Delia, we couldn't hear you. It cut off.
Oh, sorry. If you can, it shows on the offices. If you go down a little bit more, it says en español, para información en español, por favor, llamen, and it gives the information in Spanish. So anybody that speaks Spanish that wants to talk to somebody in Spanish, they can call that number.
Yes. Please take a picture of it. We can leave it up for a little bit, just to go ahead and have access to it. And if everyone, please, if you can just stay with sending your questions through the Q&A, just because Delia and I are just trying to track, and then it ends up being that we're tracking Q&A and chat. So we're just trying to make sure that we don't miss any questions.
And then also, if you are less comfortable with email or you don't have an email, there's all of the pages have this program inquiry form. And if you click on that, it'll just take you to put in some of your information, like your name and email, and they'll call you, they'll get back to you and help you start the process. So you can do either one. You can fill out the inquiry form or you can write an email to the contact. And then Janet had asked about the career services. So if you go to that same page, that same link, and right here on the right-hand side, under these workforce links, you'll see career services. So you can go to the career services homepage. And this is where you can get support with finding a job, getting help with your resume, interview practice, all of those things. And the person who helps with your recruiting, so the person who helps you fill out the application, they kind of act as an advisor. And so throughout the program, they'll be in touch with you, asking you about how you're doing. If you have any, issues, you can contact them. And at the end of the program, they will also help you get connected to a career services counselor if you need help with job placement.
Okay, that was a lot of information.
So great.
Yes.
Well, good. I'm glad that it was helpful and there were so many great questions. I'm going to go ahead and also just put my email in the chat if folks have other questions or if you have trouble with the website and you need support. I'm also happy to help folks walk through the application processes.
Okay, and if you can repeat your response with regard to the cost of the programs. Someone just asked the question again. How much does it cost, if anything?
Yeah, so again, most of these are free. If you go to the website, if there are any fees associated, it'll say it directly on the website. The majority of them, there might be a small fee like for either processing or for like books. But again, those vary, most of them are under $80 or, maybe under $100. So the majority of them are are sort of free of cost. Again, if you have like a financial hardship, you have a challenge with like transportation, you're having challenges with, cutting down your hours in order to do the training, things like that, the recruiter will also help with that as well. And we do have connections to the Rhode Island Reconnect program where folks can get additional scholarship money to help support those things as well.
Somebody is saying that they applied for the English classes that it cost $235.
Yeah, so that is a separate program. So again, we're going to talk about those on Monday. So those are not sponsored by the Department of Labor and Training. So there is a fee scale for the English language classes and the GED classes. So I can talk more about that on Monday, but there are also opportunities for folks who need financial support for those as well.
Right. So tonight we're talking about workforce development classes that come from a special funding from the government to be able to support people who want specific training for work. For English classes and adult education, we're going to talk about Monday and how you can access these classes, what days and what cost, and how to get scholarships. So even if there is a cost, there's always a way to get scholarship. So it's always important to know that you should ask how to apply for scholarships because CCRI can help you navigate through those processes and applications.
Okay.
Let's see if there's another one.
Yeah. Just to remind folks, Maddie entered again the website and the chat and is at the very bottom. So you can go ahead and also go ahead and take a picture of that or even click on it, save it. And then you can go ahead and go straight into the website to get more information.
Another question is there any carpentry training class?
I do not believe that carpentry is one of the trades. Though we did just develop a new relationship with the laborers union, the carpentry laborers union. And so I imagine that will be coming probably sometime in like the winter or the spring. So sometime in like December, January of next year.
Great. Let me see if there's anything else. Okay, and they appreciate all the information and want to know if Monday is at the same time, the Zoom.
Yes, so we will be sending you reminders as we did today, in the morning or even possibly the night before. And then we'll go ahead and just remind you right before the session starts. So thank you so much for joining us. If you do know of any other person that is interested in programs at CCRI, please invite them to go ahead and you can forward the link that we normally send you. And you know, again, it's a open Zoom, so they're able to come in and learn a little bit more. But I don't want you to leave, so please stay on.
Yeah, and the link is the same one. So the same link that you used to come in today is the same link for Monday. So you can save it if you want to and use the same text, that it's the same link from the McKinvo link that was sent today.
Yes, yes. So, Maddie, if there's anything else you would like to share right before you go, we really appreciate your expertise and all the information that you were able to share with us today.
No, I'm all set, but thank you guys so much for having me. I was really excited to talk to this group. There were some really great questions, and I certainly hope folks will take advantage of the programs. Most of them are free, and there's a lot of really good jobs out there. So we're excited to help folks get connected.
Okay, wonderful.
Have a great evening.
Thank you. You
Thank
too.
you.
And again, for anyone who might have a question or concern, and you just need a little bit of guidance, our office is here to help. So please make sure that you reach out to us. You can always call our office 401-456-0686.